Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. Happy Halloween! Thank you for rejoining Charm on Travel. I hope you're having a wonderful Halloween weekend. I am going apple picking with all of the animals. And then Saturday night we're going to a zombie hayride fright night in Fredonia, Pennsylvania. We'll try to get some footage of that, where we will join the fight against zombies with paintball guns mounted to a hay wagon, which sounds pretty freaking awesome. So I'm not sure how much I'll be able to record of that, but I'll sneak some footage here and there if I can. I don't know why there would be an issue, but I'll ask. I really wanted to put the GoPro on my head, so we'll see if that's permitted there. I guess in town you got to worry about farm machinery too. Quite balmy today, at least up by the lake. I couldn't even bear to put my gear on, all my gear, so just in a t-shirt today. That's got to be close to 80 degrees. That's 75. The temperature has dropped a little bit the further I move from the lake, but it's got to be like 80 up at the lake. Quite warm. But I'll try to get as much of this beautiful fall scenery as I can. These grapevines are quite vibrant. Leaves that are falling are pretty, but they do pose a hazard to motorcyclists. Wet leaves can be as slippery as ice on the roadway. So this has been a public service announcement. That was Winnie the Pooh! I used to play paintball when I was a kid. Running around cornfields and diving under hay bales and through forests with my uncles. I had a group of friends older than I was, and they said they were going to get together and play paintball. Well, I showed up like fully kitted, like totally tactical with my 200 round hopper and black gloves, and black boots. Like, yeah, I looked like I was in Rainbow Six. And when they got done laughing, we went and ran our first game, and I tripped and promptly fell right on my face right at the beginning. Me and another guy, we just sat there laughing for probably like 15 minutes about the whole thing. We may have not been entirely sober, I'm not sure, but we had a good time. Forgot about that. I do love my clouds. We got some today. Skeleton on the Harley, that's pretty neat. haunted Harley. Maybe that was Harley Quinn. Don't die. What the hell's going on over there? A little Pirates of the Caribbean thing going on. So those of you not from the Great Lakes region, you'll notice that about 50 or 60 miles south of the lake, the leaves are in a later stage of autumn. So there are hardly any leaves on the trees, and that's because up by the lake keeps the shore warmer, so temperatures are warmer into autumn than they are further south of the lake. So that's that, and probably, you know, due to wind and stuff, is why there's not that many leaves out here. It's so pretty though. It's a beautiful day. Cannot complain.
Remember ever it being this beautiful this late.
Yeah. It's kind of brown, I think.
It's very yellow. The red's kind of fallen away, but the brightness of the yellow, and then when the sun pokes through the clouds, it's so cool.
Halloween weekend. I'm excited. Bob's in Theo. Oh man, is everybody in? Everybody but Theo. He's in the back.
He always lays in the bed.
Yeah, we're not even to Route 6 yet, are we?
Nope.
All the leaves are gone. Almost all of them. All the leaves are brown and the sky
is gray. And the sky is gray. Oh, hello, Luna.
For those of you who are brand new, let me give you a rundown of what's going on here. So basically, a long time ago, when a galaxy passed our way, aka here, this guy rolled up one day to my house and he said, hey, so I'm with the government and we kind of messed something up and we want to hide it in your woods because it is literally in the middle of nowhere, as I'm sure you all figured out from your drive here. And he says, we'll pay you money and you let us. And I'm like, ooh, free money. So he went ahead, put the thing in my woods, one thing leads to another, yada, 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 and now there's zombies. And that's where you guys come in. You guys, I know I've probably been able to see it by now. Under normal circumstances, I can't do something a little long. Every year you go to these zombies, so this is the first time I'm all the way in. So that's all. I
wish it was longer and there were more zombies.
Wait. Let's shut this off. Okay. Experience at Zorbageddon. Zorbageddon? Zorb. Sounds like I'm from another planet. How'd you do in the Zorb ball?
I think I did okay. I was like a one at a time kind of, not like.
Yeah, you gotta look over the gun.
Well, there was a sight. I was trying to use the sight, but I couldn't.
Yeah, no,
see.
they're woefully inaccurate, like a Panzerfaust, like a rocket launcher. That's pretty cool.
I thought it was fun too. I wish it was longer. I wish there were more zombies. Music was good. The guy running the show and everyone had good energy. Yeah.
I thought it was great. Just before sleeping.
For post-production.
Yeah.
Oh, it's black. Yeah. The driver we went in. Oh.
So there's one down there. Yeah, that's what you said.
Is there?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's where you're supposed to go.
And then I can't remember how we go down.
Once we're down there, will you know? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we get lost, then we're actually gonna have to fight the zombies up for now. Hey, I know the guy who works on this. We have to play some creepy zombie music. You think there's any out there right now? In the field?
There's also no deer.
Yeah. They also turn into zombies.
Pull over and die and punch them.
You're bringing down my happy Halloween video. Global warming.
This is way past my bedtime. It's 9:37.
Yeah, who you calling Grandpa? I survived the zombie apocalypse. Bracelet's a little too tight though.
You can heat it up and stretch it out.
I'm not sure I can get either one off. One of them is taped to my arm hair.
Yep.
And the other one is super tight.
Yep.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I feel a little better now.
So where is it facing? That's facing you?
It's facing
Looking
me.
at him.
Alright, with the cake in front of you. I have
That's pretty neat.
as long as you're not epileptic.
Happy seizure day to me.
Does it shut up without the light? Cool.
That's pretty neat. It's your wrist over mine. All right next to one another. Okay. I survived. I feel like a pirate.
How about that screen lock? I don't know who made that, but it's done quite well. It's gonna be a dark night too. But it's a good night for a ghost story. Have any ghost stories per se. Whenever I've been messed with and in creepy situations or even dangerous situations with other people, I've always known that, you know, it's people, you know, not some kind of supernatural element. I just, I'm not sure that I ever doubted that. But I did see something rather bizarre once when I was a kid. My little sister and my mother were both there, and I remember very distinctly looking out the living room window. And out the living room window, there's you know, a front yard of maybe about 30 yards or so, and then there's a dirt road, and then across the dirt road there's a field that sometimes has field corn planted in it, and other times, you know, it just grows wild. But I believe it was summertime, midsummer, thereabouts, and something caught my eye out the window, and I ran and looked to the window, and I remember sitting there, kneeling there on the back, you know, on the couch, and leaning over the back of the couch and looking out the window. I think it was a chair at the time. We had like this old, that doesn't matter, but it was like an old blue rocking chair I was kneeling on. There was another recliner type chair beside it, and yeah, my sister was next to me on my right, and I remember my mother coming and looking over our shoulders, but there was a cloud about the shape of an oval, and it seemed as though it was directly above that field, but I know because it was up in the sky that it was probably much, you know, further away. This guy's popping a U-turn, so let's see which direction he's headed. Okay, we're going to continue on straight. The cloud was probably, you know, I don't know. I know it wasn't directly over that field though, and it was relatively low. You know, it didn't seem like it was, you know, it was probably about, geez, I don't know. It was definitely lower than these clouds that are above me now, but it was still up in the sky. You know how that can be hard to judge distance. But regardless, it was moving sort of like a measured pace from north to south. And it was almost like a complete oval. I mean, it still had the mounds on top of a cloud, and it was a cloud, and there was nothing, you know, paranormal or metallic or anything visible on it. But inside, it was flashing. Like it was flashing a brilliant orange light, almost like a caution light. And it was the same brilliance and same color as these lights on top of this truck, like these amber lights. And I've looked up, since then, I've looked up like, you know, cloud-to-cloud lightning or internal cloud lightning. And I've never seen a picture like what I saw. I mean, it wasn't as manicured of a cloud, seemingly, and the lightning was not quite, you know, the lightning is never quite right in any of the photos. It's always like pink or purple. That's some loud machinery going off over there, you know, or like a blue lightning flashing inside the clouds. But this was orange, and it wasn't evening, you know, it was afternoon, I believe, but not late afternoon. And I remember just marching across the sky, like almost all alone. There may have been some very high clouds up above it, you know, like wispy clouds, like up in the stratosphere or whatever. But this cloud was pretty much alone and moving, you know, at just a measured pace from left to right. And it wasn't huge. It was, I mean, if you were to hold your thumb up in front of the cloud, it would cover, you know, horizontally. If you held your thumb up, you could cover, you know, the cloud almost in entirety, definitely in length. But you know, maybe not in height. It was just a really weird experience. And what's most bizarre about it is that's something that I'll never forget, because I've never seen anything like it before, and I hadn't seen anything like it up to it. And what's really bizarre is there was a time when my mother and my little sister remembered it, you know, recalled it, but now if you would ask them, they don't. Like, they have no memory of that incident. So either they're messing with me, or they were abducted by aliens. Maybe we were all abducted by aliens. But it's just strange that they don't remember it. It could also be that they just did not find it remarkable enough to make note of it. My sister might have been too young, but I don't think so. I think, man, I don't know. It seems like even if I was that young, I would have remembered it. It was so strange, so weird. But we also live in an old, used to live in an old one-room, well, it was at one time a piece of the house that I spent most of my life in was a one-room schoolhouse in Meadville. And when we redid the siding on it, children had carved their names into the side of the building, which was kind of, you know, kind of cool. And so it's a very old building, and it was brought, I think, on a flatbed truck from Meadville to that location. And my grandfather dug the basement with a team of horses all by himself, and, you know, put on I think he added on to it, but it's, you know, just a story and a half. Yeah, I'm sure he sided it, probably re-roofed it. It's got very old rough-hewn timbers inside of it, and it's just old, like it's an old building. It was kind of neat to grow up in it. But not myself, but others have seen, or not seen, but have heard thumping and like the sound of furniture moving upstairs while they were downstairs and everyone else was outside. And that's happened, you know, to two persons that I know of in that house. Not to myself, but, you know, it's just a weird, you know, old buildings creep. But that was also a summertime thing too. So they, you know, I guess wood does swell up in the heat and when it's humid. But the sound of furniture is pretty distinctive. And I saw what I thought, you know, what looked like a figure to me. But now that I look back on it, I believe it may have been a reflection from the swimming pool I was in at the time. So it's like a blue figure, and I raised my hand to wave at it, and, you know, it also waved its hand. So, I mean, but it was glowing like an iridescent blue, but probably from the reflection of the swimming pool, and it was probably me waving at myself. But at the time, you know, it sort of creeped me out. And that's a funny story too. My aunt had the swimming pool in Ohio, And when her kids had grown and they were done using it, we, you know, it's a big like rectangular pool. I don't remember the exact dimensions of it. I'm not sure if it was a, I don't know, right, 15 foot by something. I don't know what they are. This, you know, probably a little larger than the height of a basketball hoop. But we went over to Ohio and tore it down with the help of, you know, some family, and we put it all in the U-Haul. And after we had got it completely loaded in the U-Haul, it rained and the U-Haul sunk in the yard. So then it became a battle to get the U-Haul out of the yard. Of course, we had to unload everything we had loaded into it to lighten it up, and then, you know, walk it out on a series of planks until we hit solid ground again. But we went in for lunch, you know, while it was while it was raining, and then down it sunk into the yard. Oh, there was a Ouija board experience too. But I think that was just older kids, you know, messing with younger kids. But there were some particulars of that, but not, you know, things that wouldn't be unknown to, you know, one of my sister's friends. And, you know, girls seem to talk a lot more about families and their families than what guys do. But I've since spoken to other people who have had similar experiences with, you know, the Ouija, you know, marker flying off the board and that kind of thing. And it was, you know, quite terrifying at the time. I remember it shook, you know, it shook the youngsters, including myself, up. And you know, the older kids sure had a good time at Halloween, I'm sure, doing that. But you know, there's a bit of mass hysteria in that. I think you can get swept up in it. And maybe at the time they even believed it too. Who knows? But there were, you know, of course, an evil spirit always shows up and always knows specific information or particulars about, you know, people who have passed and the participants' families. But they were kind enough at the time to not make any of those supposed entities that showed themselves on the board former family members. There was an evil presence that also showed. And you know, I thank the older people that I was with at the time for including us in that. You know, maybe I didn't then, and maybe you know, it was you know, maybe word got to parents about it, but I'm glad that they, you know, even though it was a terrifying sense of, you know, terrifying experience, it was still a terrifying sense of wonder and, you know, mystery in it. And I think when you're a child, you kind of need that. And I feel sad for people who exclude, you know, Halloween. I guess there's always been something a little macabre or, you know, dark about my nature that is drawn to that, because I've always really liked Halloween. And kids like to be scared, you know, they like spooky, scary stories. And I think older kids and older people do too, and that's why it exists. I just like this time of year, but I like a lot of the holidays. Especially when I was young, I'm not sure I always observed the significance of each one, but it's always about family. To me, it always was. And they are as diverse and as enjoyable as the seasons that we have around here. And I think it's a way to celebrate, and that's how they originated. You know, All Hallows Eve or Christmas, you know, the old pagan holidays that followed the moon and worshiped the harvest. But you don't think of that, you know, if you don't study it, you know, other religions or the practices of antiquity. It doesn't matter when you're a kid. All that matters is the ambiance and the lights and the trick-or-treating and the candy. and the scary stories and the scary movies on TV. Staying up late, playing flashlight tag, looking for monsters and ghosts. Spooking each other out on sleepovers, around campfires. It's an excuse too for adults to recapture a bit of their childhood and to re-experience it, relive it, live vicariously through others. A lot of the adults that hand out candy are also dressing up. I think that's pretty cool.